Mike went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and a couple other places, and in May of the next year, Mike was headed to Vietnam. So much for the ability to make good decisions. See, the truth is we make the decision, we can't guarantee what the result's going to be. We just got to make the decision. I thought I had better odds. So I went to Vietnam. It's kind of interesting. I don't know how much time I have, but I'll use what I have. I spent 90 days in basic training. I spent 90 days in AIT, which is Advanced Infantry Training. And then when I was leaving there, I thought I was going to Vietnam. They said, no, you're going to be a scout dog handler. I thought, scout dog handler? Wow, that sounds pretty cool. I'll be inside a gate protecting. And they said, no. You'll be walking point on every patrol. And I said, can I trade my dog in for a sentry dog? And they said, no. But you can trade him in for a tunnel dog. And I said, what's a tunnel dog? They said, that's where the dog goes in the tunnel and you go in behind him. And I go, no, I think I'll keep the dog I have. And so I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, 3 months as a scout dog handler and learned how to handle dogs. And the first day there, I was feeding a detail of 70 dogs, and a dog grabbed hold of me. His name was Chico. And he started to drag me in. And I didn't know what to do because I'd only been there a day. And finally, he let go of me. And, boy, I was just like, boy, this dog is a nasty dog. He's really a mean dog. And so I got this dog. His name was Rommel, really great dog. And so at the end of the course, you go through a simulated course, and Rommel wasn't feeling real good and hit some booby traps and different things. And so when we left for Vietnam, they said, if your dog's there, you'll get your dog. If you don't, you'll get a new dog. And so I left for Vietnam, and I landed in Vietnam May 15th, 1969. It's a day I'll never forget. I was on a commercial flight. I don't remember the flight at all. I just remember landing. And I remember walking off the plane. It was so hot I couldn't believe it. And walked down the steps onto a blacktop tarmac. And there were 200 guys clapping, cheering. And I thought, what's going on? And then it dawned on me. They were going to get our seats. They had made it a year. They were excited. They were going home. It was my first day in Vietnam. I was 20 years old. And you know, I spent the next 2 days in a little platoon where we were picking up our dogs. And every day, twice a day, the planes would take off. And I remember standing there thinking, I'm going to walk point for the next 365 days, and I'm never going home. There's no way I can make a year. And you know, I decided in that moment, after 2 days, I got to change my attitude. I got to figure something out here, because if I believe this, I really am not going home. And so back at the dog kennel, I checked. They said, see if your dog's here. Well, my dog wasn't there. And they said, well, just come on back, and we're just going to tell you what dog you have. And so they called out names, and of course, Monahan and Chico came together. It's like, you're kidding me. 40 dogs here. So they said, go in the kennel and pet them. So I thought, I don't want to go in. And so I went in, and Chico was really kind of glad to see me. He hadn't seen anybody in 30 days, you know. And I thought, well, maybe I just made a harsh, you know, maybe it really isn't that bad. As I walked out, he bit me. Have you ever been in a business where you work with somebody and you got to work with them and you got to figure it out? Well, Chico and I had to figure it out. Some of you might not like this if you're into not being nice to animals, but one of the techniques they teach you is if your dog lunges at you, you take and grab the chain and you swing him around so he passes out, so he doesn't get a hold of you. So for 2 days when everybody's doing basic obedience, Chico was trying to bite me. I was trying to get him to black out. And so imagine that I'm going to walk point for a year with a dog who doesn't like me. And I asked myself the first question. The first question, am I prepared? Am I prepared? I have 90 days of basic training, 90 days of AIT, 90 days of scout dog. Am I prepared I might have to kill somebody? I don't think so. Am I prepared that I might get killed? I don't think so. Am I prepared that I might come home with no legs or something? I don't think so. I don't think I'm prepared. But you know what? I don't have any choice. I'm walking point. Have you ever felt like you're running a business and everything around you is going to hell in a handbasket? And you're thinking, what am I doing here? Am I prepared? Well, the whole idea is we got to boil that down. Am I prepared to make the next decision? See, I had to make a next decision. And so I got to my platoon, and I got a break. The first week out, you went with another dog handler. So I got to see an experienced guy. And I'm thinking, this is great. I can learn something. So I went out with him and his dog, and this guy's name, he was from Dayton, Ohio. His nickname was Squano. And so Squano and I went out the first day with a company, and we came into a big bunker complex. And we finally got to the center of this bunker complex, and there was a clearing. And no one was there, which was a cool deal. And the captain came up to Squano, and he said, "Dog man, how long have they been gone?" Meaning the VC. And Squano reached down, picked up a cigarette pack, and he said, "The way this pack is discolored, the way the sun is coming through the canopy, I would say 48 to 72 hours. Well, the captain got on the horn, and he's calling all this in, and we go over and sit down. And I said, "Squano, where did you learn that? They didn't teach us that in Scout Dog School." And he said, "I made it up." I go, "What?" He said, "I made it up." I go, "Are you whack? You made it up?" He said, "Yeah. What's the difference? It doesn't matter. They're gone. It doesn't matter if they've been gone 5 minutes or 5 years. They're gone." He said, "Now that captain thinks I'm the smartest guy in the world." See, the truth is, I run Life Success. I got the smartest people on my board. I got the smartest graduates around me, way smarter than I am. And it feels like I'm driving a train that's going 200 miles an hour, laying 3-foot track in front of me. They're going, "Where are we going?" "Oh, don't worry. This is where we're going." I don't have a clue where we're going. I do have a clue about what my mission is. I want to change people's lives. I don't know what it looks like. I got to be willing to make the decision to lay the track. Lay the track and then figure out what you're going to do with it. John Maxwell says in leadership, make the decision and then make the decision right. Make the decision and then make the decision right. And so, question 1, am I prepared? What I figured out, I'll know when I come home. That's when I'll know. If I make it a year, I will know I was prepared. You will know you're successful when you do it, not a moment before. And you can't know it ahead of time. You just got to do it. Triumph, disaster. You know, my buddy now says, "I wish I would have gone to Vietnam." I'm glad I went. It isn't hypothetical. Changed the course of my life and my passion about what I do. Seemed like a disaster at the time. One of the greatest things that ever happened for me. I love it.